A guy once asked me to make a game for him. He messaged me on YouTube saying that it was for his university course, that the deadline was tomorrow, and that he hadn't made anything, so please could I make something for him. He then ended it with a series of requirements and thanks in advance. Firstly, how dare he? I would have killed to have been on a game design course, yet there he was, squandering his opportunity. But secondly, I love making games, so I wasn't exactly going to say no. So I made Kill Kill Death Maim 3 Civilian Massacre, a super violent top-down game where you shoot lots of women. I sent him the finished game, but he never responded and the email address he gave me was fake. I had been used. I really hope that he did submit it, but I guess I'll never find out. But look at what he gave me, the motivation to make a game, even if it was rubbishy and made in about 3 hours. But it's clear that deadlines hold a lot of power. When they're upon us, we can cast everything else aside, including food, distractions, and sleep. I may be stumped by a problem for months, but when I know that I have to beat it, I always find a way. Then ask myself why I hadn't done it sooner. Working against the clock is exhilarating. Give me a deadline over a warm, sweet-smelling body of a woman any day. And with that, this sets me up to the theme of this video: competitions. They give you game-making hacks. You get limitless enthusiasm, but also guaranteed feedback once it's released and the possibility of winning stuff like a pen or something. Here's a list of my game-making achievements from an old version of my site. Sadly, Kill Kill Death Maim isn't one of them. I'm going to share with you my secrets of success. I've covered Santa's Atnas in more than enough depth already. Long story short, it came second despite being utterly rubbish. Sundown Shambles was also a broken mess when it was released, but it didn't stop it from winning a Halloween competition. You spotting a trend here? Impossiball Mission. Now this is how you make a game. It's a platformer where you have to get a ball through a level. The twist is that you can alter gravity, and I think there's a secret hidden Doctor Who Jelly Baby level somewhere as well. Unlike the other games mentioned, this one's actually good. I can tell because making levels for it was enjoyable and not a chore. I feel that, in a lot of ways, this game paved the way for Destruction Darius. Good old Rickus, the ultimate admin within the click game scene, awarded the game 9.7 and first place in an awesome review where he took the time to go through each of the 28 submitted games, providing feedback for everybody who entered. Good for him. That's how you're meant to host a competition. I still have a congratulatory note scribbled in his handwriting and a disc with hundreds of click games on it somewhere. Scrumpy Ninja is the odd one out of my games. There's no dark, sinister storyline. You play as a rabbit, collecting eggs in levels kind of like a Spyro game. But I learned a lot from the project. The whole game was based on a single frame, and I had to make it all within 24 hours. I remember I emerged from my room victorious and poured myself some celebratory orange juice. One of the best moments of my life. But the reason I'm mentioning this game is that I would have failed had I tackled the problems properly. When you first start with anything, particularly game design, you'll get stuck a lot. The first time you try, you won't know how to make a save feature or a working inventory or whatever, and you'll either end up giving in or botching it. The latter is much more exciting, and you'll often end up with some genius solution to the problems, where you've compensated for your poor coding ability with ingenuity or common sense. With Scrumpy Ninja, I had to stay on schedule, and that meant finding quick ways of fixing big problems. One such thing was egg collection. The save system had no way of remembering which ones you had collected. It would have taken too much time to design a save feature that could. Instead, it simply kept count of the total eggs collected in each area. And if you revisited a previous area, it resets your score to 0. I wish that Spyro did something like this. It would make revisiting completed areas more enjoyable. I also made it so that you could complete the game either by beating all 3 areas or by perfectly finishing 2 of them, which gives players a choice should they get stuck on the 3rd place, which is as hard as balls. Oh, and I think there's a 1 in 100 chance of a window spawning and killing your character, but you'll just have to play it yourself to find out. This was the last competition I ever won. There was only one other entry and it was just a game engine, so I kind of won by default. But it still counts. These 3 games would not have been made had I not seen those competitions and requests. I didn't enter any of these to win, but merely to give myself an excuse to make them. And perhaps more importantly, an end deadline. If you're new to game making, you might steer clear of competitions, but I urge you to do the opposite. And whatever happens, release it. You'll have done more than some people on game design courses.
Game over.